Welcome to SS2 Agricultural Science, Term 3, Week 12. Export crops, also called cash crops or economic crops, are agricultural products grown primarily for sale in international markets rather than for local consumption. Nigeria was once a major agricultural exporter. In the 1950s and 60s, agricultural exports, groundnuts, cocoa, palm oil, cotton, rubber, were Nigeria's main source of foreign exchange earnings. By the end of this lesson, you will identify Nigeria's major export crops and their producing regions, describe their production and processing, explain factors affecting world commodity prices, evaluate Nigeria's past and present role in agricultural export, and answer WAEC questions on export crops. Let us begin. Cocoa, Theobroma cacao, the most important export crop in Nigeria currently. Nigeria is the world's fourth or fifth largest producer of cocoa, after Ivory Coast, Ghana, Indonesia. Main producing states: Ondo, Osun, Ogun, Ekiti, Cross River, Edo. The cocoa belt is the humid forest zone of southwest and part of southeast Nigeria, produced from the cocoa tree, a perennial tree crop. Cocoa pods contain cocoa beans, seeds, embedded in white sweet pulp. Processing: harvested pod split beans and pulp removed. Fermentation, 5 to 7 days in wooden boxes, essential to develop flavor precursors. Unfermented cocoa has poor quality, sun-drying bagging for export. Most Nigerian cocoa is exported as raw beans, not processed into cocoa powder or chocolate domestically. Processing abroad adds more value. Export earnings, approximately $1.5 to $2 billion USD per year. Groundnuts, Areke's Hypergea, formerly Nigeria's largest agricultural export. The groundnut pyramids of Kano were world famous, declined from 1970s due to oil boom, reduced focus on agriculture, groundnut rosette virus outbreak in northern Nigeria, Sahel drought. Main producing states: Kano, Kaduna, Jigawa, Zamfara, Niger. Currently most groundnuts consumed domestically as food. Groundnut oil, groundnut cake, export of groundnut products, oil, cake, is growing again. Rubber, Hevea brasiliensis latex from the rubber tree, processed into solid rubber. Main producing states: Edo, Delta, Ondo, Rivers, Cross River. Rubber tree tapped daily for latex. Nigeria once a major exporter, output declined due to neglect. Rubber export is growing as Nigeria explores diversification from oil. Cotton, Gossypium hirsutum. Main producing states: Kano, Kaduna, Zamfara, Katsina, Kebbi. 2 products: seed cotton, raw, cotton lint, after ginning, removing seeds, cottonseed oil. Major demand from textile industry. Nigeria's textile industry collapsed but revival is underway. Palm oil and palm kernel, Elias guineensis. Main producing states: Rivers, Bayelsa, Edo, Delta, Imo, Abia, Cross River, Akwa Ibom. Malaysia and Indonesia now dominate world palm oil production. Nigeria was the world's largest producer in the 1960s, now mainly domestic consumption. Export potential is huge if production is increased. Cultivation requirements and production features. All export crops are perennial tree crops, except groundnut and cotton, which are annual crops. Tree crops: cocoa, rubber, palm, coffee, take 4 to 7 years after planting before reaching full production. This requires long-term investment and land security. Production constraints in Nigeria: age and poor management of tree stocks. Many cocoa, rubber, and palm plantations are old, greater than 40 years, and have declining yields, need rehabilitation or replanting with high-yielding improved varieties. Pest and disease: cocoa, black pod disease, Phytophthora parmivora, is the most damaging, causes rotting of cocoa pods, can cause 20 to 80% losses, controlled by fungicide sprays. Cocoa swollen shoot virus, not yet in Nigeria but a major threat in West Africa. Rubber, tapping wound panel infections, treat with Bordeaux paste. Cotton, bollworm, jassids, whiteflies, bacterial blight, require IPM and improved resistant varieties. Post-harvest quality: cocoa, proper fermentation, 5 to 7 days, uniform drying, not over-dried, not wet, removal of moldy beans, critical for premium prices. Palm oil, proper sterilization of fruit bunches, pressing, and purification to produce low-free fatty acid (FFA) oil suitable for export premium grades. Certification and standards. For export, produce must meet importing country standards, EU standards for pesticide residues, maximum residue limits, MRLs, are particularly strict. Organic certification allows premium prices. Sustainability. Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil (RSPO) certification is required by many European buyers. Cocoa Sustainability Certification, Rainforest Alliance, UTZ, Fair Trade, brings premium prices. How world prices are determined for export crops. Commodity exchanges. Major agricultural commodities, cocoa, coffee, cotton, palm oil, groundnuts, are traded on commodity exchanges such as London International Financial Futures Exchange, LIF, cocoa and coffee, New York Board of Trade, NIBOT, cotton and orange juice, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME, soybeans, maize, wheat. World prices fluctuate based on supply factors, production levels in major producing countries, the drought in West Africa reduces cocoa supply, prices rise, pest/disease outbreaks, new producing countries entering the market. Demand factors, global economic conditions. In a recession, demand for chocolate/luxury products falls, industrial demand, rubber for automotive tires, biofuel demand, palm oil for biodiesel. Speculation. Financial investors, not farmers or processors, buy and sell commodity futures contracts, can cause short-term price volatility. Exchange rates. Most commodities are priced in US dollars. A strong dollar makes commodities more expensive for buyers using other currencies. Buffer stock schemes. International Commodity Agreements, ICAs, were established to stabilize prices through buffer stocks, but most have collapsed due to inability to control production. Terms of trade. Developing countries that export raw commodities and import manufactured goods suffer from declining terms of trade over time. Raw commodity prices rise slower than manufactured goods prices. This is called the Prebisch-Singer hypothesis. It is why value addition is so important. Process crops before export. Implications for Nigeria. Nigeria's export income from agricultural commodities is exposed to world price volatility. Diversifying export crops, adding value, processing before export, and achieving sustainable certification all help improve income and stability. Nigeria's agricultural export policy and promotion. Nigerian Export Promotion Council, or NEPC, government agency to promote non-oil exports including agricultural products, provides export documentation assistance, identifies buyers, promotes Nigerian produce at trade fairs. Agricultural Export Commodity Standards, NAFDAC, FSSCI, SUN, provide quality standards and certification, critical for meeting international standards and avoiding rejection of Nigerian exports at port of entry. Specific initiatives. Cocoa Transformation Agenda, government initiative to increase cocoa processing in Nigeria, from raw bean export to cocoa butter, powder, liquor export, rubber revitalization project, replanting old rubber estates with high-yielding clones, cotton revitalization, investment in ginning capacity and farmer support. Challenges for Nigerian agricultural exports, quality inconsistency, mixing grades, poor fermentation of cocoa, high moisture in groundnuts, smuggling. Export crop produce is often smuggled across borders to neighboring countries, Benin, Cameroon, where prices or logistics may be better, deprives Nigeria of export records and revenues. Inadequate processing capacity. Most exports are in raw form, low value added. Export logistics, port congestion, Opopo Port Lagos, high freight costs, inadequate cold storage. Certification. Meeting EU pesticide standards and sustainability certification is challenging for smallholder farmers without extension support. Key points. Export crops. Crops grown primarily for sale in international markets. Nigeria's major export crops. Cocoa, most important, SW Nigeria, fermentation and drying, groundnuts, north, decline but recovering, rubber, south, Edo, Delta, cotton, north, lint and cottonseed oil, palm oil/kernel, south, formerly world's largest producer. Processing, cocoa, pod harvest fermentation, 5 to 7 days, sun-drying bagging. Quality standards essential for export. World prices set by commodity exchanges, LIF, NIBOT, CME, affected by supply, demand, speculation, exchange rates. Terms of trade, raw commodity prices rise slower than manufactured goods, value addition critical. Nigerian export promotion, NEPC, NAFDAC standards, cocoa transformation, rubber replanting. Challenges, quality inconsistency, smuggling, raw export, low value added, port congestion. WAEC questions, identify and describe major export crops, state producing regions, describe processing steps, explain factors affecting world commodity prices, evaluate challenges and opportunities for Nigeria's agricultural exports.